Hi, we're back, and today we're going to be dealing with 1 John 4, 7 through 21, which I entitle a treatise, or John's treatise on love, and I've chosen to break up this paragraph into three portions. So let's get started here. Final discourse on love, part 1, and this is going to cover verses 7 through 12. So in verse 7, we have an exhortation to love. Beloved, let us love one another. That's a hortatory subjunctive, first person plural. That is grounded in the origin of love, that is God. Because love is from God. It has its origin in God. And then the consequence or the effect of love is reflected in a birth from God and a knowledge of God. Pas ha agapon. Each one who loves, gegenetai, this is a perfect middle passive indicative third person singular from genao. So each one who loves has been born from God and knows God, present active indicative third person singular. So see my headings above. There's a birth from God, and also there's a knowledge of God that is found in each one who loves. Then we have the consequence of not loving. In fact, it leads to no love of God or no knowledge of God. Hame agapon. The one who does not love, uk egno tan theon. That's a aorist indicative third singular, and it's irregular, has not known God. And then explanation for why love's absence means no knowledge of God, because God is love. So we have a clear contrast that's at work. Each one who loves has been born of God and knows God, that is contrasted with the one who does not love. There is no knowledge of God. So we notice that loving others means two things: a birth from God and also a knowledge of God. Contrasted with loving, no birth here from God is stated, obviously, and there's no knowledge of God. Now, the aorist form egno here is can be regarded as a gnomic aorist. That is a truth for all time. It's not simply past point, but it can express something that is true for all time. Then in 9, we have the means by which God's love was revealed, and that is in the sending of his Son. En tuto, means, instrumentation. Ephanerothe, aorist passive indicative third person singular. The love of God was revealed, made manifest in us or among us, because his utterly unique Son, God has sent. Apestaken, perfect active indicative third person singular. So God has sent his utterly unique Son into the world in order that we might live through him. Here we have a aorist subjunctive first person plural, and that's preceded by the red flag word hina, in order that. And that's a red flag word here for purpose. Now, a couple observations here. Explanation for why love's absence means no knowledge of God is expressed in the fact that God is love. Now, the same expression is repeated later in the paragraph of God. God's nature is that of love. Now, this is regarded as a statement of ontology, meaning God's very nature or being. It's similar to another ontological statement in John 4:24, God is spirit. That is his very nature and his very being. Then in verse 10, en tuto esten he agape. In this is love. Not that we have loved God, perfect, active, indicative, first person plural, but that he himself, agape-sin, loved us. Aorist, active, indicative, third person singular, and he sent apestelan. This is a aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. This is a liquid verb that rejects the sigma suffix. He sent his son, hilasman, expiation, or as expiation, concerning our sins. So a couple of observations here. The divine initiative of love crowds out human initiative. That is, the initiative for the love of God does not originate in humans. And this is love, not that we have loved God, but that he himself loved us. And his love is expressed in the sending of his son as expiation for our sins. This is very similar to what we find in the gospel, John 3:16, probably the most famous verse in the Bible. Love is expressed in the sending of his son. Then in 11, we have a reaffirmation of God's love. Beloved, if thus God loved us, that is, in the sending of his son. Agape-sin, aorist, active, indicative, third person singular. And then the logical result is that of loving others. Hemes, aphelamen, we ought or we owe. And this is a red flag word saying an infinitive is coming. And that's what we have here with agapan. Present active infinitive of a contract verb. Then we have the heading here that I put in, substantiation for human love. We start off here with oudes, tetheatai, that's a perfect deponent indicative, third person singular of the contract verb theaomai, I see or behold. No one has seen or beheld God at any time. Then we have aeon, and that says a subjunctive is coming. If we should love, present active subjunctive, first person plural, one another. If we should love one another, God abides in us, present active indicative, third singular, and his love is perfected or has been completed, perfected in us. And here we have the periphrastic construction here, perfect participle that is linked up with a form of the verb to be. So here we have a contrast between God whom no one has ever seen and others whom we have seen. Horizontal love, that means love for others, leads to God dwelling within us and that his love has been perfected or matured in us. And here we have the substantiation here for human love. in that of loving one another. And here I draw attention here to the periphrastic construction again. We have a perfect participle of the verb teleao with a form of the verb to be, eimi, esten. And here it is. Here's the perfect participle. So love is in a perfected or matured condition. And when you're ready to pick up with verse 13 and have done your work on this next portion, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.